Response video to gray text. I won't play his video just because it's got a lot of crappy noise in it and stuff, and he's got his accent and everything else, and so it's probably not going to work. So I'll just read some of the comments. Confederate socialist, the elitist slash racist, whatever he is amendment really for ending all sentient life? I thought he was for virtual reality, which was self-fueling, grew its own food and food nutrients, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, well, okay, here's Great Texas answer. He said that he'd push the big red button. As far as VR is concerned, I think it was conjured up, that one, just because he thought people wouldn't accept the destruction of the universe as a reasonable plan. I really didn't contemplate the destruction of the entire universe, but I suppose if it's possible, if we can make this, pull the thread, make the whole thing unravel, might be worth doing. All right, so let's get to the real hard philosophy. You don't want to argue this with Nick, the modern mystic, who will also tell you that life is futile. But so you want to argue with me, and then you want to do it in the context of, playing this game with whether or not my psychology has some influence on my philosophy. You make an apology, and then you just open the door for a bunch more of this speculation and bullshit. So fuck you very much for that. So I guess in my comments, everybody just talk about what a drunk Greatex is, because apparently that's the game we're going to play, and he certainly knows the game. He has people in there telling me how I should react to trolls and how I should do this and how I should do that, because we should all know what the consequences of every word that comes out of our mouth is going to be, blah blah blah. And so, yeah, you take responsibility then for what you know the consequence would be. You could have just PM'd somebody and told them, tell Gary I'm sorry. Or you could have said it in Stickam, or you could have done something else. But you chose to make a video and make a big scene about it, so fuck you. Because it really, that isn't going to solve the problem. Especially the way you did it. But anyway, getting to the point of the argument. Look, there's a philosophical issue here, okay? Life can be deconstructed. We can take it apart. We can dissect what's going on here. And I have defended in videos the conclusion that it is a zero-sum game. And the only way we could win a zero-sum game is we have to get to the zero-sum. We have to get back to zero. And that means we have to do life perfectly, the conscious experience perfectly, and then we might hit that zero. But that's it. That's our only hope. There's nothing to accomplish here. There's nothing in the universe that needs sentient creatures to be running around on the surface of little planetoids. There's nothing that's going to be accomplished through that. So the game can't be won. We create more need than we satisfy. Anybody who's going to argue that organisms, humans, are anything else but a need machine is silly. They're born crying. They're, feed me. Come on, we're need machines. And we just get more and more extravagant as our culture gets more and more technical. And we need more and more and more and more to make us tolerably comfortable, to some point where we're not, strangling each other based on our passions and our needs. So anyway, well, whatever. Yes. So ultimately, it's doom. Yes, and virtual reality is the answer. If you want to save the human race, that's the place to put it, because that's the safe environment. Yeah, I've made the videos. I've made the argument. You're not making a counter argument. You're just slandering the guys preaching the message. You're just saying I'm an asshole, or I'm psychologically broken, or some other bullshit, but you're not making a counter argument explaining how life does make sense, that it does have a purpose, that it is accomplishing something. There's a mission statement. Where's your mission statement written? Who wrote it? Let me see it. See, Emendham's argumentation style is linked to his anxiety disorder. He thinks, consciously or unconsciously, that if he loses an argument, he will be perceived as weak, which will make him more vulnerable to an attack. 12 many gods. I don't know, he doesn't have an account or anything. 1 too many gods. He doesn't make videos, this coward, and he's going to sit there and critique my personality. Yeah, so he's blocked, of course. Anyone you shit talkers, you are blocked, of course. Fuck you. I'm not going to waste my time going around reading comments to find out what little weasel is saying shit about me. If you can't say it to my face, fuck you, you coward. Make a goddamn video so I can do the same thing back at you, you fuck. But anyway, it's not good to be a wimpy, pansy, mushy type. That's true. It's bad. It's bad, he said. That's great text response, which didn't make a hell of a lot of sense. All right, this Scottish atheist guy who I blocked, he reacts to bullying in a way that only encourages more bullying. Where someone else would ignore it, he gives it front and center attention. Newsflash, asshole. There's about 700 videos out there made by other people with my name in them. Well, I mean, a lot of them have been taken down because the wimps can't keep their videos up. And how many have I reacted to? You know, what, 30? 20? What's the real number? You know, fuck you. What, have I ever reacted to a Encyclopedia Dramatica? It's still up. I think it'd be up. Even if I react, I don't react, it's still going to be there, that page. So what the fuck are you talking about? You're just talking out of your fucking ass. You don't say anything or do anything, and yet you're going to tell people who are saying and doing how they should be functioning? You're just such a shitty little piece of crap. It's funny that in Gary's universe, pleasure and happiness are pathetic constraints of a subjective human mind. I don't even know what that means. But why does suffering matter in the same universe? Huh? Or whatever. If suffering matters, then so does happiness. But suffering is all Gary's experiences, so suffering is all that matters. Well, as I stated before, I wouldn't live any of your little fucker weasel lives. So obviously I must be pretty fucking delirious with my fucking life. So I don't think suffering is the only thing I've felt. Yeah, I've had great moments in life. Yes, I've climbed my Mount Perfect. I've said it that way before. I've been to the best place you could possibly be. Places where I'd say, I want to spend eternity in this moment. I've been there, you fucking asshole. So what you're talking is just trash. It's just more trash talking bullshit. You know, I acquired this philosophy, generally speaking, before I was, you know, what, 12, 11, 9, 7? And I did it in the front yard of my house, just contemplating anthills and other organisms and the whole life cycle kind of bullshit. And just realizing that you can't attach to any of these things because they're going to live 45 days. And this is going to be run over by a car. And this is going to be beat up with a baseball club in a garbage can because some dumb morons think a possum isn't a feeling creature. So fuck you. I mean, just fuck you. I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing else to really say. Make a fucking argument. I'm not arguing the non-existence of pleasure. What I'm saying, what I have explained 4 zillion times, is every pleasure we feel, every satisfaction we feel, we only feel because our body creates a deprivation, a need first. All right, and some of that desire is fun. Okay, being a little bit hungry is fun. Being a lot hungry sucks. Being a little horny is fun. Being desolate and alone and miserable is not fun. And then when you get into pain and suffering, I mean, Greytex is going to say it later. He's going to compare things to a fucking stubbed toe. When did I talk about the horror of the stubbed toe? You know, they're just going to ignore, you know, millions of people dying in horrible circumstances. Just ignore all of that and talk about stubbed toes and say that's what I'm talking about, is that, yes, we have to blow up the universe because somebody stubbed their toe. I mean, it's just bullshit. And maybe, though, maybe in some Star Trekian perfect intellectual world, they would find stubbing toe offensive because they had so purified themselves of negativity yeah, they would find that a horror. They would find that a nightmare to experience that kind of pain. The syndrome of the human animal is that it will be addicted to a drug. It will watch its own body fall apart. It will watch itself drive cars into other people's houses. It will watch all kinds of shit happen, and it will still participate in the behavior. All right, because it is insatiable, an insatiable desire machine. All right, we are addicted to this circumstance. It is not the circumstance that is attractive in its nature or in its substance. It is our addiction, our need, our desire that makes it appear as if it's valuable. And one can argue philosophically from another perspective and pass judgment. Are you stupid enough to tell me you can't pass judgment on a heroin addict and say he's wasting his life, that he's hurting himself? You can't say that? I mean, it's preposterous to make this stupid argument that no judgments can be made. Do you want to live the life of some person who, you know, spends their life working in a chemical plant, they live to be 21 years old and die of cancer and all that shit? Would you willfully go live that life? I mean, fuck you.